Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And this right here is my Kentucky Bluegrass plot. It's about 1,500 square foot. Got 4 different varieties. And I live in central North Carolina, not too far from the Virginia line. So typically, this is not the turf type of choice for this area. We get super hot in the summer, can be really dry. And bluegrass requires quite a bit of water, so we're kind of testing it out here to see if we can get it to grow. Okay, so if you're in that really hot environment, I don't want you to go thinking, hey, let's go buy some bluegrass and throw it out. If you do, you're probably in for a lot of work ahead of you. Bluegrass likes water, okay, more so than tall fescue. But we're going to try it right here, and as part of that deal of trying it, I need a way to water it. I'm a super busy guy. I don't have time to come out here and set a sprinkler up however many times I'm gonna water it. So I'm gonna make a little simple irrigation system that's gonna save me a lot of time. Let me show you how I'm gonna do it. All right, so if you've got a well, it's super easy, okay? If you're running it off of a spigot, like on the side of your house, it actually isn't too hard either. You just need a way to get your PVC pipe connection to a garden hose connection. And you can, they make 3/4 inch threaded ends that'll slide over top of your pipe, and you screw your garden hose in and connect it to your water spigot. But I've got just a basic irrigation valve, and you can see here's my irrigation wire, and I've got one side hooked up to the ground and one side hooked up to the power. You basically put your valve in line between your water source and the sprinklers. Now you do need to be able to run this wire to a power source or to a timer, and you'll take that timer and hook these wires up into the timer, and we'll do that in another video. All right, so you can see my basic setup right here. I've got 1-inch PVC pipe. That's over there connected to a valve, which is connected to my well, and a timer. We'll do all the timer setup and hookup in another video. But I basically come out, put a T in, go all the way down to the end of the building, cut it off, put an irrigation head in, and then I'll do the same thing right here. Now this is 1,500 square foot. I think 2 irrigation heads will be able to cover it. If I got one right here, one about 3/4 of the way down, maybe a little less than 3/4 of the way down. Now I'm not going to bury this. Okay, I'm going to leave it sitting on top of the ground. It is somewhat temporary because I am going to be irrigating all of this at some point in time. No need in breaking my back digging a hole right now or digging a ditch putting this in it. What I am going to do is create, in another video, I'm going to create a mulch bed, okay, that goes all the way down the side of the, and then I'm going to cover this up with mulch so I won't see it. I'll only see the irrigation head sticking up. So, it's kind of makeshift, kind of throw together, but for my situation, it's going to get the job done. All right, so I'll make sure I got plenty of pipe going that way. Just going to come right here and put a T in it. Now, I don't actually have a true T. I've got a cross joint section here. Honestly, when I left the office today, I forgot to go by Lowe's and get a T, so this is all I had. So I'm going to use this as a T and plug that up. Might look a little funky, but it's okay. Now the reason I'm making this connection last, and I put my long pipe in first, is because if I were to connect this directly to that without putting my pipe in first, I might get a little crooked, okay? Follow me? And if I do that, then my pipe here is not going to lay flush on the ground. So I actually did this first, this part first. So this will lay flush on the ground on both ends, and that way all I have to do is slide it on, and I know that my lines are not going to have any bows, or not going to be off one way or the other. Since that's on top of the ground, I'm going to kind of make sure it's set up flush with the ground. And I'm pretty sure it is. That looks pretty good. Now I've just got some simple Hunter PGP heads right here. I thought I had some more of them I-20s left over that I used in my yard, but I don't, so we'll just go with these. Using a simple elbow right here that's a 1-inch slip by 3/4 inch thread. That way it'll screw right into the end of the irrigation valve, just like that. Now I'm not going to tighten that down all the way. See, I still got a little play in it. That way in case I need to do some adjustments. Telling you, these gloves right here are an absolute lifesaver. You know, I've been wearing these for a pretty good while, and the story behind these, you know, the Bible tells us to love our wife like Christ loves the church. And that's a submissive type love, and unconditional love. And I used to have some of the absolute roughest hands you've ever seen. I used to shake a man's hand and I'd get a crazy weird look from him. It's like he was shaking a pair of vice grips or something, I don't know. But my hands were just all calloused and beat up. And my wife didn't like that. So she asked me one time, she said, I want you to make a pretty significant effort to work on your hands. So ever since I've done it, now my hands ain't baby soft smooth now, but my hands are in much better condition than they were, to the point to where it pleases my wife. And when mama's happy, I'm happy, right? All right, so this right here is a pretty important step too. I'm gonna run this head at a 45 like that. It's going to come around and catch the corner of the bluegrass and then go back around this way and stop and come back around. So I need to line this thing up right on the edge. Now I don't mind if it gets a little bit out in the fescue. I'm completely fine with that. But what I'm thinking is my bed, my landscape bed that I'm going to bring, and I'm going to kind of curve it right through here. So I want to make sure it's in far enough that I can come on the outside of it, but I also want to make sure that I can come around and catch this corner of the bluegrass too. So I'm thinking something about like that. I'm just kind of looking at this because my bed is going to come out and circle around. I think that right there is going to be plenty good. So I'm going to mark it and cut it, clean it and glue it. Now when you put this head on, you want to make sure you get this head as straight up and down as you possibly can. You don't want it leaning this way, and you don't want it leaning that way. You want it as straight up and down as you possibly can get it. I'm gonna actually lay it on the ground. That's pretty dang straight. I believe that'll work. All right, now this end, I'm pretty much trying to go as far this way as I can. So my bed is going to come out right here. It's basically going to circle around right here because I want the same width of my bed from the grass to the wall on this side as I do on the outside. So that's about 3 foot. So about 3 foot's right here. So I think it's going to curve somewhere right in here. So I'm gonna come right back to here. That's a lot of here's in it. And I'm gonna make my cut. Just like that. Same thing with this one. I wanna make sure I get it good and straight up and down. I think that's good. Now what I've done here is I've pre-adjusted it and kind of looking to see where the water flow is going. That way when it pops up and it's spraying water, it's good to go. Might have to fine tune it after that, but for the most part that's good. All right, So that one's pretty much running as it should be. Alright, so let's fire it up, see what happens. Now I don't have my timer hooked up yet, so I'm gonna have to turn this on manually with the valve by just turning it counterclockwise. But by the weekend I'll have the timer hooked up, and that way all this can be set to automatically. Hang on just a second. That way all this can be set up to auto. By the weekend I'll get my timer set up, and that way all this can be set up to run on its own, and I won't have to worry about it. Alright, so you can see my coverage is pretty good. They do overlap in the middle just a little bit. You can see that head, I've got some serious pressure. And for only having two heads on there, I'm going to have to dial the pressure back on that valve a little bit. But you can see it's tilting that one back some. And I'm also going to get some stakes and drive them in the ground right there to kind of help hold it upright. But that thing's got some good pressure coming out of it. Alright, so there you go. You can imagine if you've got a little smaller front yard or backyard or something, man, this would be a killer idea and a cheap way to put a little irrigation system in. Okay, this is, you can pick all this stuff up at Lowe's or Home Depot. Very inexpensive stuff. PVC pipe, don't cost much. And you can just pipe it up, plumb it up, wire it up, and look what you get. So hey, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and tell all your buddies, get your water right. So hey, like, subscribe, tell all your buddies, make sure you get your irrigation right.